What's up guys, my name is James, and in today's video I want to talk about how to make money in real estate. This is going to be a video where we talk about one of the best ways to make money in real estate right now in 2020 with everything going on the way that it is in the world right now. So a lot has been turned on its head recently when it comes to real estate, when it comes to investing, when it comes to really just about anything business related. A lot has changed over the last 6 months, as you already know. And so the strategies have changed for how you can make money in different business models, different industries such as real estate. And I want to talk about one of the best opportunities right now that honestly has been created purely from everything, all this craziness going on in the world, and that has stemmed from it, and that's created this massive opportunity in the real estate space right now. And I want to talk about that and show you how you can actually get started with this real estate opportunity without any money. Now, there are different strategies you can apply here, so you can do them where you are buying properties or renting properties, but I also want to talk about a strategy where you can make money in real estate right now in 2020 without having to buy, rent, furnish any properties whatsoever, and how you can do it without investing any of your own money into the real estate itself. So let's just dive right into it. The opportunity that I want to talk about in this video is specifically about Airbnb and this opportunity that I've seen over the last couple of months. Now, I know what you might be thinking, James, that's crazy. How could Airbnb possibly be an opportunity right now in 2020 when tourism is at an all-time low? And you're right, it's not an opportunity everywhere, but there are a few places in the world where it is a massive opportunity, the main one being the United States, right, in America. And the reason that it's a really huge opportunity is because tourism has actually bounced back largely in the United States when we're talking about actual domestic travel. The amount of money being spent in America on tourism is absolutely huge right now. Now, I've discussed this a little bit in a previous video, but basically what's happening right now in the United States is that Americans, like everyone else in the world, can't leave their own country, but they can travel domestically. And as you may know, Americans are this world's second largest spenders on tourism every single year in the global economy. They spend about $144 billion every single year. Now, normally that spending gets spread all over the world. They're going to go and spend in all different parts of the world wherever they might travel to. Right now, Americans can't travel to any other countries internationally. What they can do is stay within their home country and spend that $144 billion at home. And that's pretty much what they're doing right now. They're taking a whole bunch of that spending and they're allocating it within the US because they're wanting to get out of their town, but they're not wanting to hop on flights because they can't travel internationally. And a lot of them don't even want to hop on a domestic flight. They want to drive somewhere. And so what we're seeing is hyper local travel. And a lot of that tourism is going into Airbnb. The main reason being that a lot of travelers don't want to go to crowded hotels and stay right next to a whole bunch of other people. They want to be in their own space that they know they're not going to be interacting with other people in. And so what's happening is you're seeing in all kinds of markets all over the United States, demand for Airbnb properties is absolutely surging right now. In fact, we've seen in recent months of 2020, the demand for Airbnbs and the number of bookings on Airbnbs in the US has actually surpassed the numbers from 2019. We're actually seeing year-on-year growth in Airbnb bookings in the US in a time where everything's shut down. It seems so crazy. And most people are totally blind to this. You're actually seeing a number of headlines in the media, but for the most part, people are not really aware of what's going on. They don't really believe it. You know, it seems kind of counterintuitive to think that Airbnb will be booming at a time like this. So what's happening is that Americans are wanting to travel, but they're not able to travel domestic or travel internationally. So they're traveling domestically, typically within a couple hundred miles of their home so they can drive there. And they're booking Airbnbs as opposed to booking hotels so that they can stay further away from other people. We are also seeing, adding on to that stockpile of opportunity, is that you're also seeing people wanting to book places to work from. You're seeing people that can't go into the office, but their home is inadequate to work out of. So you're seeing people booking longer term stays, 30 days, 60 days, longer term stays at properties near them where they can go and work out of. Or you're also seeing larger families that don't have enough space for their kids to be home and both parents to be home, working from home, everyone in the same household. And so they've decided, hey, for the next 30 days, for the next 60 days, we're going to go and book a larger home with a bit more space, a backyard, so that we can live there and we can work out of there and be a bit more comfortable. So you're seeing all these different reasons for people booking travel domestically. And so in a country like America, where there's a huge population that spends a ton on travel and tourism every single year normally, that creates a massive, massive, massive opportunity. Now, as if that wasn't enough, as if the demand going up wasn't enough, you've also seen supply go down dramatically over the last number of months, because when everything first started to go crazy in the world, a lot of people transitioned their properties to longer term rentals or sold their properties. For whatever reason, they couldn't afford to have down months, whether it was because they were over leveraged, because they bit off more than they could chew, or they just weren't comfortable with that amount of uncertainty. They transitioned those properties away from Airbnb and onto long-term rental platforms, or they just sold the properties altogether. And so what you've seen is that in most markets around the US, you've had a pretty steady increase of number of properties on Airbnb. You know, as demand keeps going up year over year, you're seeing that more and more people are putting their properties onto Airbnb because there's more and more of an opportunity. And then all of a sudden, Airbnb took a crash. And so what happened is a ton of people left Airbnb, a ton of hosts took their properties off Airbnb. So in a city that, just arbitrarily speaking, used to have 100 listings on Airbnb, now they only have 70. And so those 70 units are left with less overall competition. And initially, that still wasn't that great because demand hadn't popped back up. But now we've seen demand surge. There's more than 100 people looking for listings. And so there's even less than 100 people who have listings on Airbnb, and even more than 100 people, again, just arbitrary numbers here, looking for properties on Airbnb, because that demand has gone up dramatically over the last couple months. And so what you're seeing is that not only are properties getting booked, but they're getting booked for higher nightly rates. People are able to increase their prices drastically because their properties are in higher demand. There's a surplus of demand, not enough supply, too much demand causes an increase in price. Simple economics. You don't have to be, have some fancy degree to realize that that's what's going to happen, is that prices are going to go up. And this is exactly what we're seeing in most major markets. If you look at, I've done a bunch of research into this, looked at a bunch of different markets, and I've seen that average daily rates have steadily climbed over the last 30 and 60 days. And so there's a huge, huge, huge opportunity right now to get started with Airbnb, and there's a few different ways to do it. Obviously, the most expected way to get started in Airbnb would be to buy a property, furnish it, set it all up, and get it listed on Airbnb. And if you have some money set aside for a down payment, for maybe a bit of renovation, for some furniture, that can be a really good vehicle right now, because, assuming that this trend continues on, you're going to have a really great return on your investment. Now, the less obvious way to do it is, again, requires a little bit of an investment, but it's to rent a property, furnish it up, and then flip it onto Airbnb. That one I typically don't recommend, though, because you're not building any equity and you're still taking on risk. If you own the property, you're building equity, and you can always transition to long-term rental, whatever might happen. And so you're still having a security blanket around yourself, and you can still do quite well regardless. If you rent the property, though, and you furnish it, you have no equity in the game at all. Maybe a little bit of equity in your furniture, if you can call it that, because there is some remaining value that you could sell it for, but realistically speaking, you're not building any real equity. But what happens is that if things do take a turn for the worse, like they did a couple months ago, then you're left high and dry, and those are the people that lost a lot of money when that happened, because they had rent payments that were due, but their income had dried up. Now, the third option that, in my opinion, is the best opportunity right now, because there's a whole big demand for it right now in the marketplace, and you take no risk, is Airbnb property management, what we call the percentage management fee model. Now, I've got a link down below in the description to a free training where I walk through the exact step-by-step guide for how you can get started managing other people's properties using this exact model. It's a brand new training that I just put together, and that is specifically geared around what's going on right now, talking about the opportunity. So if you want to check that out, just check out the link in the description down below. But basically what this is you're going and you're managing people's properties for a percentage of the overall revenue. Now, overall revenue is going to be sky high right now, which is amazing. So you're going to get a huge return on every single property that you manage for. And the reason that property owners would want to do this with you and have you manage their property is because right now things are changing so much, right? They want someone who they can give all the work over to say, hey, you take care of pricing the property, responding to guest messages, organizing cleaners, all that stuff, and then I'll just be over here, I'll collect my percentage of the revenue, and I'll be happy not doing any of the work. And then you can come in and you can take care of all of that for them. So you're saving them time, and oftentimes you can help them to make more money, because by more accurately setting the pricing, adjusting it, keeping up to date with all that stuff, you can actually increase the overall revenue of the property. And when you do that, they make more money, the property owner does, and you do as well. So it's a total win-win. Right now, there's more demand for it than ever, because number one, property owners that are already on Airbnb want a lot of help managing this because it's become too burdensome for them. And number two, new property owners who are seeing this video, seeing this opportunity right now, are coming on. They're going, hey, I want to take advantage of this. I want to get my property back over onto Airbnb, but I don't know how to do it. I need someone to manage the property for me. And so for that reason, there's this huge opportunity right now. And what it also means is that you, as the property manager, don't have to invest any money into renting the property, furnishing the property. You're not spending any money out of pocket up front to do it. In fact, in the free training down below, I show you how you can actually make money right out of the gate before you even get your first booking every single time that you bring on board a new property. But what this also means is that because you get a percentage of the overall revenue, you have no risk, right? There's no such thing as having a down month. Your revenue can drop to zero and you're still just making zero. You're not losing any money. And even in the worst case scenarios here, we still, I work with hundreds of property managers all over the world. This is what I do. I train people on how to manage properties on Airbnb, and our revenue didn't even drop to zero in the worst tourism meltdown of the entire, recorded history, right? Because you can always transition the property over to long-term rental and still make your cut on the overall revenue of the property. So it's a really fantastic model because there's a huge amount of opportunity. There's a huge amount of upside. There is no risk, no downside. It's a huge win-win between you and the property owner. So you're still providing massive value to them, and it's really helpful to them. It's a very in-demand service. And right now, there's more demand than ever for this type of service. So again, if that's something you're interested in, you want to learn more about that, just click the link down below in the description to our free training on how to earn a full-time income managing other people's properties on Airbnb. That's a training that I just recently put together here that covers all the steps, exactly how I grew my business and how you can grow yours. And by the way, we also show you how to automate and outsource all the day-to-day operations so that you don't have to be involved in any of the actual daily operations, such as messaging guests. You can automate that, setting pricing, you can automate that, cleaning the properties, you can outsource that, you can automate all the scheduling. So we show you different systems you can set up to very easily automate and outsource all the day-to-day operations of the business so that you don't have to be spending your time actually doing the day-to-day operations in the business, and you can run this business completely remotely. I'm also going to show you inside the training how you can manage properties remotely from anywhere in the world, just getting started out, so that you can be living in Australia and be managing properties over in the United States here. So we're going to walk through all that. Just click the link down below to that free training to check it out if you want to learn more about that. As always, if you like this video, if you found it valuable, then just give it a quick like. Just click that like button down in the bottom corner there. It helps me out tremendously with YouTube's algorithm. So if you could just do that, if you got value from this video, just click like, give it a quick thumbs up. If you're new to the channel here, or if you're one of those people who has been watching this channel for a while but hasn't yet clicked that subscribe button, then just click that subscribe button down the bottom corner there as well. And then you can subscribe to the channel. You'll know when we post new videos. We post them twice every single week, talking about all the latest updates on Airbnb, property management, earning an income on Airbnb, starting your own business, everything in that space. We're going to be posting new videos twice every week on. And if you're subscribed to the channel, then you're going to get updates when those things come out, so that at times like this, when there's a huge opportunity that there's never been a better time to get on top of, and you want to be really timely about it and get in at the right time, then you can know right away when that video comes up. So just click that subscribe button to be notified of all that stuff. As always, I've really enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.